Kristy Woodson Harvey is a New York Times, USA Today, and Publishers Weekly best-selling author. She's written 11 novels, and most of them are about to be turned into TV shows or movies. I mean, her career is exploding, and we're super lucky to have her today. The reason she's exploding with these books is because they're warm, funny, touching, and they transport you really when you're reading them. And this is my kind of book all the way around. So again, so excited to have you here. Kristy Woodson Harvey, welcome.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much for having me today. I'm so happy to be here.
So let's just get into the first book, because I tend to just talk about all kinds of stuff. But before I get off on some tangent, because I got a million questions for you, let's talk about the latest book, Beach House Rules. What's it about? It's set in North Carolina. The setup is this commune, right? So talk about the kind of what's happening in this new book.
Yeah, so Beach House Rules is about a woman named Charlotte who comes home to find her house covered in caution tape and learns that her husband has been accused of a white-collar crime, and she and her daughter are locked out of their house and their bank accounts. And so, as luck would have it, a woman from her church named Alice invites her to come stay with her temporarily, where she also lives with her niece and her niece's children, and then another friend and her children in a setup that is affectionately nicknamed the Mommune. So these women sort of bond instantly, but they start to realize as the days and weeks go on that something connects them that they were not aware of. And then they begin to wonder if whether they're all coming together was actually a coincidence, or if perhaps it was orchestrated by something outside of themselves.
That is so great. I love that little extra kind of mystery that goes on there. I love the mommune idea too, and the kind of word you've coined. How'd that come to you when you were trying to decide what to write? How'd that mommune idea come to you?
You know, every now and then something just hits me like a ton of bricks, and this was one of those ideas. So I was actually listening to a radio interview, and some women came on and were talking about how they had recently found themselves single, and just financially they were finding it really difficult to survive. And so they all moved in together for financial reasons so that they could, have a better life for their children. And then they started to realize that, the emotional support of having these other adults in the house to be able to help with raising the children was really, really paramount. And I thought that was such an interesting concept. I actually heard about it a few times in the media about 2 summers ago. But what I thought was really interesting is, what would people in a small southern town say was going on inside this mommune versus the reality? And so I think that was really the spark of the idea for me is, what would these Juniper Shores, North Carolina people be saying about these women that are doing something slightly unconventional?
So I know how I feel when I read one of your books. Rest in peace, Dorothea Benton Frank. She is the reason I kind of was keyed into Southern fiction. I'm a Northerner.
Yes.
I'm so disappointed to say it. I wanted to be a Southerner, but I love Southern fiction, and I love Dorothea Benton Frank. And really, when I read your books, they're a fresh take, but it makes me feel in that same way. What are you trying to get people? What do you want your readers to feel after they read one of your books? Like I said, I feel that Dorothea Benton Frank glow.
Yeah. Well, I love that, especially because she and I have the same editor. So I think you really hit on something there. But that's high praise. But I do definitely, I want people to have those cozy kind of warm vacation vibes when they read my books. I write a lot about family and found family, and how, friendships can be such a pivotal role in our lives. And I think this book in particular, maybe the most I've ever written, is really about finding friends as adults. I think it's a very different thing how we create friendships in our adult lives. And I really wanted to kind of focus in on that for this novel in particular. But, I hope this is a book that does make you, put it down and want to call your friends or say to your book club, oh, we should read this. Like, I think we need some things in our lives that bring us joy and make us happy and help us relax a little bit.
Well, you want to be friends with the characters, or you recognize your friends in the characters too. I think that that's another thing that makes you feel really like, okay, if my friends and I had a situation like this, how would we come together and make it through together? So I think that's also, and again, of course, you're on the beach, so it's awesome.
Sure.
That's awesome.
Well, and the women that I dedicated this book to are, some of my best friends, and we've really raised our children together. And they were the first people that I talked to. When I had this idea, we were all going to lunch together that day. And I was like, you guys, I have this idea. What do you think? And they really helped me talk through, is this going to work? And what would it look like logistically? And, do we think that this will appeal to readers? And they
You've
were,
got your own
kind
little
of my
mommune.
first line.
Your own little mommune. I really love
My mommune.
That's right. That's right. So I want everyone to know the Beach House Rules out May 27th today. So get that book and you are going to have a really nice warm summer experience. I am so excited to be able to interview you. Thank you so much for joining us today on Author's Note, and all success. I'm sure it's going to be a huge hit. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I can't wait to be in Ohio.
Awesome.